Hey, what is up, growers and chili heads? So we're here with the second episode, and by the end of this one, it'll start actually looking a little close to the final product. But here we're just prepping the surfaces. The biggest part of this episode is getting the grow room as sealed as possible. When growing indoors, all I do is battle with pests. So anything I can do to improve the sealing of this room and trying to keep any pests or microbes or any kind of mold or mildew from entering the space is definitely going to help. I kind of went with a 3-part approach. One is doing the epoxy on the floors and on the curbs around the floor to seal the porous openings of the concrete and making it easier to sanitize the floor with it not being so porous. And then finding and sealing any gaps and cracks in the space from the concrete to the exterior walls.
Alright, so quick tip. When you're using your silicone, one, you're going to want to make sure you get kitchen and bath. So when it gets wet, it doesn't completely disintegrate and get funky on you. The next thing is, you can go with clear or white. I ended up going with white. Hopefully it matches this paint. But the most critical thing is you want to make sure that you get your epoxy down and dry before you apply this. Because if you go through and you seal all of your cracks and then decide to go ahead and throw that epoxy down, it's going to end up pulling this up. And it's going to look funky and you're going to be pretty pissed off. So, real simple. All right guys, so check this out. Here is getting a little closer on this. Here's your expandable foam. Now, when it comes in a roll, it's going to be fully compressed like this. Ideally, it'll stay compressed like this for, I don't know, probably 15 minutes, long enough to work with it. So you don't really want to leave a bundle of it open like I did here. But what's cool is I actually found out, even if you do, if you compress it, it will, let you rework with it. On this side here, you have a little sticky adhesive. Now, the claim is this is watertight if you're able to get it in a crack. I think it's like 1/4 inch or 3/8. So what I did, you come in here, you can take a look around the base here of the garage. You can see where this foam has expanded in these gaps and areas. And over here on the side of the garage, you can get that right there. So this black right here, that's that strip. So it's extremely tight between this and the wall, and then it actually expands out, which gives us that perfect seal. Now here, I did leave 2 spots here open just so I could show you guys how simple this is. So first it needs to be compressed so it has room to expand. And again, this is pretty simple, it's not rocket science, but just for the sake of showing you guys, you can see how sticky that really is. And then down here I have a little gap. I'm gonna just shove that in there with my fingers. And then as that expands, it will completely seal the area. And then in order to take things a step further, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna sweat, so 85 degrees in here. We're also gonna be using the AC Infinity fan, and we're gonna keep a positive pressure here in the room too. So for anything that we might have missed, we'll be able to pump that air in here, and maybe we'll probably start with like a 1/2 inch water column amount of pressure in here, versus the outside pressure in order to have that high velocity air go through those cracks, keeping anything from coming in as well. So we have a mountain of work to do in this episode, and we're gonna try and fit it all in. So you got the gist of us, sealing in the garage. Sealed her on the floor, we sealed up cracks with the silicone afterwards. We sealed up any gaps in the room, and now we have this corner where the majority of our plants have been moved, and I need to paint over there. So in order to do that, we're going to move these Grow Bright 660 watt full spectrum lights so we can get our grow table right here where the tape is outlined, at least for the most part. I'm going to be a little bit outside of this just because of the way that my truss is running here. But we're going to slide these over, throw them in the tables right here, along with our botanical trays, relocate the plants, finish doing the painting, and then towards the end of the video, I'll jump back in and give you guys any tips and tricks that might help you guys if you're doing a similar project on your end. So let's get to it.
So here the grow room actually starts taking some shape. Prior to the build, I took some time thinking about a few key points in the total area I had to maximize my layout and still have plenty of room around the plants for maintenance, and most importantly, the layout of supplemental equipment, like my lights and how the trusses were gonna run, where my layout was for hanging them, my water system, and how I was gonna pipe to the tables without having a bunch of crazy trip hazards, and my HVAC equipment, making sure that the fans on the walls were gonna have good coverage, and also keeping the plants far enough away from the mini splits, not cook them or freeze them when the unit had to run. So here I went with the tables for some of the common reasons. They're going to be easier height to work on the plants. They're going to be a little closer to eye height, so they're going to be easier to monitor and check on them. But most important was the soil temps. So I was having a lot of issues with the concrete in the grow room, freezing or cooking my soil temps. So getting these plants off the ground is going to really help with that. The other big reason was originally I wanted to go with an ebb and flow system before I found the blue mats. So if for some reason the blue mats don't work as well as I'm hoping, this is going to make it real easy to pivot. But other than that, guys, I think that's a good stopping point for this episode. I'm trying to keep these, at a max of 10 minutes. So in the next one, we'll be setting up the ventilation and doing a lot of, the meat and potatoes of setting up a grow space. So for now, appreciate you guys watching. Give us a little like and subscribe, and we'll catch you later.